Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And today, we're talking about business credit. That's right, you heard the Quill, the Granger, the U-Line, the usual three, but we're going to give you 3 or 4 more today. That's right, and we're going to talk about those high-risk business names, high-risk industries that you don't want to be in, or name your company these names so you can get business funding later. We're going to talk about it for 2020. Who's going to join me? So please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back. As you can see, this Business Credit 2020, we're going to get into it. A few extra changes. Some of y'all already started your business credit venture, but let's get right down to the rules. As you can see, we're on the Stop Struggling Now YouTube channel page. So again, thank you everybody for subscribing, sharing, liking. I appreciate it. Now, I've also discussed in the past that there's some industries that are on I'll call a blacklist. Meaning when you pick a business name, your name and a code for your name could matter as far as getting business funding, business loans. And so it's something called NAICS, NAICS. And I'm actually going to show you a list before we get into this. But there's some things that we need to get straight, because a lot of people are always interested in no PG. No PG is based on you building your credit file. You can't build a business credit file in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. Yes, you can add to your Dun & Bradstreet number and get a Paydex score by doing the Quill, the Granger, the U-Line within 2 to 3 months. But that doesn't mean you can go out here and get a $30,000 or $50,000 loan. You got to have a business, LLC. You have to have a business address. You should show that you are making money, have revenue coming in into a business bank account. So all those things need to be done straight out the box. So we'll start with the basics. Dun & Bradstreet, which I do not have on the screen, is who you sign up for initially. And it's free to sign up. And I've said this before. They will call you, harass you after you sign up and say, you need to get in on this $1,500, $1,200, $1,000 program. You do not. You sign up for free. You get your Dun & Bradstreet number and go on about your business. First of all. And then, of course, you already have your EIN, which you get at irs.gov. So you go to irs.gov, G-O-V, and you get your EIN number. And before you do any of that, you must determine if you want to make this a full-fledged business, or if you want to make it a full-fledged business but running it out of your home, because you're going to have a residential address. And for all these U-Line, Granger, and all that, they'll give you can use a residential address because you're not actually asking for funding when you're starting out. They're going to give you a net 30. But later on down the line, it will matter if you have a business phone number, a business fax number, a website in your business name, email address in your business name, that whatever at Gmail, whatever at Yahoo, whatever at Hotmail, that may not cut it for certain underwriters. They need to know that you're in business. And then bank account, business bank account, LLC, corporation, Inc., something that says that, not DBA. Don't use DBA in my opinion, because you're going to be doing the same thing anyhow. You might as well make the whole thing legitimate. So some people are on here now saying, well, Eric, hold on. I don't have a business address. Well, this is why there'll be a link down below for the Opus virtual offices. And you get a premium location. And that means that it's an actual commercial building location with the receptionist, offices located in there, and that's where your office is going to be. And then you say, hey, I need a business phone number. Yes, they include the business phone number, the business fax number, the 411. After you sign up, you send them a message, say, hey, I need this phone number added to 411 under my business name. You fill out a form, then they add you. This is virtual. Opus Virtual Offices. And there'll be a link down below that you can sign up, and they have a special. It's $99 per month. And again, you get a fax, you get a phone, you're on 411, you get somebody to answer the phone in your business name, and they will forward the phone call to you. You can't pay enough for that type of thing. When you're in business and somebody calls your phone number and they say, hey, this is XYZ company, how can I help you? And then they say, hey, can I speak to Eric? They say, please hold, we'll transfer you. That's professional, okay? They don't have a problem with that. They can fax you the emails, or the fax that they receive turns into email. So when the fax comes in, it can be sent to your email so you can read your faxes. You don't have to physically go to the office. Your mail that you receive there can be forwarded to you. A bunch of advantages versus a residential address. And when you set that up from the beginning for all your business, it costs $99 per month, but that's a write-off. When you're doing business, that's a write-off. You should have revenue coming in. Whether, I don't care what the revenue is. If it's $50, $25 a month, you need to start having revenue coming in. And as you're building your business credit and building business, your revenue should go up. So now at the end of a year, 9 months, a year, year and a half, your revenue has increased to maybe 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, but at least you have revenue coming in. And when they ask you for your bank account information for business funding, now you're saying, okay, here it is. They'll say, all right, we can see the guy's actually doing some business. So you have to be in business. You just can't open up an LLC, get these business trade lines, and then expect to get a $40,000 or $50,000 line of credit or a credit card. So what I'm trying to get at is, the other part to the story is, while you are doing the business credit seasoning, as I call it, building it, you might as well work on your personal credit as well to get that score up higher. In 2020, expect the lenders, the underwriters, they're going to want to look at your personal credit score. As credit starts tightening, they're going to want PGs, and they're going to want higher credit scores. Right now, you can still get away with a few things, but that in 2020, this is why even on the personal side, most companies are doing hard inquiries, because there's so much fraud. There's people using different dead people's social security numbers, people using CPNs, and now they want to verify that everybody is legitimate. And this is why the Ox Publishings, the My Jewelers, all these companies that used to just do no credit check, they're all now doing credit checks. All right. The only guys that still apparently aren't doing credit checks is Credit Strong and Self Lender. They still aren't doing credit checks, but there's a reason. It's because you're sending them money. You're funding your own trade line, so to speak. So they don't really have to do a credit check. Similar to a bank, when you go to the bank and say, can I get an in-house secured loan? They say, okay, put $1,000 in an account and we'll withdraw the $15 or $25 per month from that money that you put up. They don't have to do a credit check. You're putting the money in. So these are the things that you want to do in tandem, because at the end of a year, you want to have over 10 business trade lines, and preferably you want to have like 15. So I know some of you old subscribers who's been watching and following for over a year, you always heard me talk about Quill, Granger, Uline as the starting points. Wells Fargo secured card, that's not going to be reporting anymore for the business side. So you want to stay away from there, and I won't be talking about it from this point on regarding the Wells Fargo secured business card. But the Uline, the Quill, and the Granger, yes, I'll be talking about that as usual. But today we're going to add a few more things. But let's get into the business name, because that's important. And the thing called NAICS, NAICS, there's certain industries that are high risk that underwriters and funding agencies do not want to give money to. So I'm going to show you that right now because that's important. A lot of people think that you can just name your company anything. So let's see here on the screen. What can we do? I'll have a link down below. I'll supply this PDF down below so you can, or a link to the PDF so you can see it for yourself. So you can see these high risk places which you wouldn't think would be high risk, but they are, like auto dealers. You're in the motorcycle, boat dealers. Anything automotive is high risk. So if you name your company Bird's Aircraft Dealership, and then I try and go out and get funding, I might have issues because my code is a high risk code. You don't want to do that. So that's why I've told you in the past, you want to have almost a generic name, something of the thing like Eric's Consulting Services. I mean, not maybe for the automotive, but you understand what I'm trying to say. Or Eric's Plane Sales. But again, that would almost be an aircraft dealer. So you have to figure out what name you can use so it's not on the high risk list. You can see down here, check cashing, anything to do with money, money transfer, money orders, anything like that, high risk, can't do it. Pawn shops, jewelry stores, high risk. So you see all these high risk industries. And look, even retail stores are high risk. Vending machine business is high risk. A lot of people want to have a liquor store and a restaurant. Those are all high risk industries. Because they go out of business so fast. They change hands so fast. So it's a high risk for most underwriters. Not all. Let's see what else. That's it. That's the short list right here. So like I said, I'll have a link down below, and that'll help you out with the name of your business, because you want to keep it generic, and then you want your NAICS code possibly to be something like 541121, something of that nature. So we'll talk about that on another video because we'll break it down a little further. And but let's get into some trade lines. I'm giving you some new trade lines today, some new things that you can get into. So I'll go with the usual so I can get that out of the way. Everybody knows Quill. And again, just to explain for all the new people that have shown up, what you do with Quill Granger Uline is you order product, and I tell everybody order $100 or more of product. Some people say 50, some say 75, I say over 100. The second part with Quill, when you order different products, let's say you order paper and you order ink. Paper, as you can see on this package of 3 or 4 color ink, and that's going to be $50, let's say. You've matched that $110 order that I say you should do. The only problem with that is they may ship the paper on a separate order, so they'll count it separately. So they'll count the paper order as $60 and the ink order separately at $50, and they won't report potentially on your business credit file. And that's because they ship them separately. So just keep that in mind when you order from Quill. All right? So I'm not saying that it's 100% that's what would happen, but they've been known to do that. Instead of placing the whole order on net 30, they separate them and count it like, oh, that was 60, that was 50, so we're not going to report. That's happened before. And another thing, people have called me up and said, hey, Eric, Quill didn't report in this 30, 45-day window. Quill, Granger, sometimes they report like 60 days later. So you want to give like a month to 3 months before they're going to report. That's why you got to get things started right away. And you order with net 30. You do not pay until after the product arrives. So let's say I order today. The product arrives Thursday, and anytime Friday on up until 29 days, I need to pay them. So when you're starting out, you want to give them your You don't want to give them your personal social security number. You sign up, you do net 30, and you might have to pay also sometimes your first order when you're in business, because they realize you may be a new business and you might actually have to pay. They may not give you net 30, but most of the times they'll give you a net 30. All right, so you give them your EIN number, your business address, your business phone number, your business fax number, your business email address. Everything lines up, and from the day one, all those things are going to be needed by everybody. Okay, and you can always have things shipped to a different address. This is true. So you don't have to, it's just like any personal shipping. Your account is under one address when you do your cards or whatever, and then your business, your shipment goes to another address. That's perfectly fine as well. But you got to pay the day after the objects arrive or the packages arrive. You check them out, make sure you receive what you receive, make sure the invoice is correct, and then you send in a check or you pay online anytime the day after up until 29 days. And I recommend the day after or 2 days after. Within the first 1 to 2 days after you receive the package, I recommend paying sooner the better, because that'll be sooner that they could potentially put it down that you met your obligation on your Dun and Bradstreet. All right, so that's Quill. Next up, I'm just giving you the screen so you know what you'll see when you go to Granger.com, Quill.com. So you see what Granger looks like. The same thing with them. You're going to order a net 30. And keep in mind, this business of business, it costs you money. But just keep in mind this. Things that you order, you want to order for your business. Every business has startups. The startup cost is, again, tax deductible, but you have to come out of pocket to pay for these items. And it's very nice if you already have money established in your business checking account and not commingling, which is very important. You don't want to use your business account as your personal account, or vice versa. You don't want to say, hey, I need $1,000 and then go over there and take $1,000 out for personal use, because down the line, if there's ever a lawsuit, any lawyer can pierce your corporate veil and then they'll go after your personal assets. So you want to write a check to yourself, and you better call it some business. I don't care what you call it, but you need to call it something, whether that's salary, whether that's dividends, whether that's anything else. But you have to have a paper trail of why this money is coming out of that company. A company is a separate individual. So as far as the IRS taxation is concerned, they need to find out where that money's going. And anytime you use that debit card and you're out at an ATM machine and you're withdrawing money, that's like personal. So that's why it's not recommended. Always cut yourself a check, so it's all trackable for your CPA or any accountant or any IRS agent. So then that way they're not saying he's using it as his own personal piggy bank, and you want to write on the check what it's for. So that way, even if you don't remember, when that thing is tracked again, you could read the thing and say, okay, that was a dividend, or that was a salary, or that was based on some commission, or however you structure your business. All right, let's get on with it. Granger's the same way. Net 30, you want to pay after the items arrive. Everything's a tax write-off. Uline is next. And as you can see, they have all different kind of products. Some people may need these items. All right, and it's pretty simple. Again, packaging, tape, boxes, materials. Most businesses need popcorn, anything like this, they have. All right, including clothes. So these are the first three. This is gonna, let's just say $350, $350 net 30 that you're gonna owe the first month if you did all three the first month. All right, so we're in business though. Keep in mind, business, you're in the business of business. You got to generate revenue. You're not joining up here to say, hey, I opened up a business just so I can sit around and try to collect business funding and then never pay it back. That's not the point. This is why more and more companies are saying, give me your personal credit score. I need to look at this. Because a lot of people are frauding. We don't want to fraud. All right? We want to be in business, make money. So again, you know my little motto. So you can do what you want, when you want, how you want. Be anywhere in the world. All right. What's up next? Something I haven't talked about, but I'm going to talk about it as another business trade line because we want to get up to 5 or 6 right away, if possible. And keep in mind, again, I'm going to say it, the sooner you can get to 15 business trade lines, the better. All right? Now, up next, strategic network solutions. I haven't talked about this before because we have always dealt with the basics. But as you can see, it's S as in Sam, T as in Tom, N as in Nancy, T as in Tom, S as in Sam, OL.com. All right? Strategic Network Solutions. They also report to business. And again, it's a net 30 opportunity. All right? That's what you need to do. And again, for everybody who may be listening on the podcast, that's right, we have the Stop Struggling Now podcast. So it's going to be the www is dot S as in Sam, T as in Tom, N as in Nancy, T as in Tom, S as in Sam, O, L as in Larry.com, or Google Strategic Network Solutions. And you can go there and order products, items, and again, it's a net 30. And again, I always recommend $100 or more. They report. But here's something that happened last week. A person came and watched one of the videos, and he asked a question: how can I get my business credit reports? Because everybody's charging me. I said, that's right, but go to nav.com. I've never really talked about nav.com. Now I'm going to talk about nav.com because if we have Quill, Granger, Uline, that's 3. Strategic Network Solutions, that's 4. Now we go to nav.com, and nav.com is more than what you think. Yes, you can check your business credit. But what if you can get loans? What if you can get credit cards? And more importantly, they have a program where they report to your business credit file. Now, I'll go over this, and there'll be links down below because there's 3 different tiers, so to speak. Everybody can sign up for free. There'll be a link down there in the description, and it'll say free nav. Next up, $29.99, you sign up with nav, and then that gives you more products or services that are available to you. $39.99 a month, you get the more products and services, but nav also reports your $39.99 a month to your business credit file. So now that is the 5th way that you can get a trade line on your business credit file. See how simple that is? But how much is it going to cost you? Nearly $500 if you did all 5, or if you did it 1 each month to get started that way. Either way, that's what's going to happen. It's going to cost you $500. No way around it. And an ongoing amount of $39.99 for nav if you want them to report on your credit file. And again, all this is tax deductible at the end of the year. So you could, in theory, have $6,000 in tax deductions at the end of the year. So we're in business. There's nothing wrong with making money. It's a business entity. Everybody's worried about taxes. Don't be. It's a business entity. So if your business entity makes $20,000 and you can write off $6,000, that's $14,000. Now you have a tax liability potentially of $14,000. And then you're going to look around and say, okay, I had a business meeting with these people, and you keep your receipts because you can write off food, travel, gas. There's a lot of things you can write off as a business owner that you cannot write off as just a W-2 worker. All right? keep all that in mind. That's why you need your receipts, and that's why if you don't feel comfortable with doing your taxes, then of course you might have to see a CPA to help out a little bit. But again, that's a tax write-off. We're in the business of business. We want to go from zero to $1 million. Remember that. We have the Emerging Millionaires at our Facebook group at Stop Struggling Now group. There'll be a link down below. Anybody who has a business, product, service, anything you promote, you need to go to the Facebook group, our Stop Struggling Now group, and post your link. So when you post online in a social media, on a social media platform, post your link to it so other members of the Emerging Millionaires can help you out and boost it up. Share it, like it, love it. We can help each other out. So if we get 5, 10, 15, 20, 100 people doing this, and imagine if you had 100 people or 50 people or 20 people, even 10 people, when you post something, come over and share it around the internet. And that product or service gets around, and instead of 20 people seeing it, 50 people can see it, or 100 or 1,000. You'll have an opportunity to increase your sales, and we all work together. So the Emerging Millionaires t-shirts, they're not out yet. And there's a reason. Sherry's husband is fallen ill, and unfortunately, because the way she runs her business, it's not ran by anybody else. There's no manager or anything like that, and I can't blame her. She's kind of been in, out, and her production has been delayed. So hopefully this week I'll have the first Emerging Millionaire shirt, and we'll have a nice design, and I'll be wearing hoodies and t-shirts. And the women, we have women's shirts as well, and hoodies are standard unisex. So just go to our website. There'll be a link down below in the description. So let's get on with it. That's 5 after you do NAV. If you do NAV, that's 5 on your business. When you have a PAYDEX score, your PAYDEX score is going to be around 85, 90 after you do these 5 things. So you don't have to worry. Your PAYDEX score getting to 90 is a major thing. But now you need age. So you still can't just roll out here and say, hey, credit union, or hey, SBA, or anybody else who you're trying to get a loan through. They're going to be like, okay, that's cute. How much money are you making? Let me see your PG. So this is why you need to work on your personal credit. You can work on your personal credit slowly but surely. And by the way, the personal credit you can boost, you can get correct and boost it up in a matter of a few months. And just go see some of the previous videos that I've done the credit repair about a month and a half ago, and I always do a boost your credit score video every 3 weeks. So there was a recent one I just did, and then there's ones before that. You can check out the playlist. All right, so we're done with NAV, and next up is people have trucking businesses or delivery businesses or Uber, Lyft, rideshare businesses. How many of you have a business under that name when you're driving around for Uber? How many of you? Are you able to write off some of these expenses like your gas? So here we are. We're going to talk about gas. Fleet Card USA. Fleet Cards USA. Fleet, F-L-E-E-T as in Tom, C as in Charles, A-R-D as in David, S as in Sam, USA.com. You can go there and you can go see their different fleet cards that you can get. Some give cash back, but the most important thing is some only do gas, some only do diesel, some only say you can go to a certain gas station, Arco, BP, Universal, Fuel Man. So you can see diesel only from Camrata, and you can see that. But why go through them? If you have already established business credit, that's a good way to go. There's another option that's called WEX Inc. WEX, WEXINC.com, has cards that allow you to go to any gas station. They may not give the cash back, but they that gives you an option just to go to any. So I'm going to scroll down. So see, you can see the Wex Fleet card, West Fleet card, Rose card. So they have different things you can do here. And again, you see the middle card with the rebates, cash flow, things like that. So you can learn all about it. Wex allows you to go to the different. You can go to 76. You can go to 7-Eleven like you see here. You can go to Arco. You can go to AMPM. You can go to Pilot. You can go to all the gas stations. But when you pick these separate ones, then you can only go to these specific gas stations. All right? So that's why you want to pick the main one. So again, you've established your credit. You have a car, truck, van, and you're using that. And now you're using your normal business account. Now you can get a Wex Fleet card. They report on the business credit files. Okay? So we're up to 7 that you could actually have. Now they're probably going to ask you for your personal credit score. All right? So you might need like a 6, I don't know the actual number, 680, 620 or above. But that's 7 that you could have within 3 to 4 months. You're halfway home to the magical 15 that I like. I mean, but don't get me wrong. You can have 10, you could have 8, you could have 9, and you could still get sent business credit cards in the mail and say, hey, we'll sign you up. And generally it'll be things like, double-digit percentage, and it'll have a variable rate. But, just keep working on it. So that, again, take your 9 months, take your 10 months, take your 12 months, because ultimately the age of your business will matter. So if you think this way, I'm going to take a year to build my business credit. I'm going to also take that year to build and repair, increase my credit score. All comes hand in hand. A year later, year and a half later, you're ready. Okay? You will be ready. And you'll already start to receive offers in the mail from different credit card companies and things like that for business, and even personal once your credit score starts getting to a certain number. So now you'll have the power of business credit, which garners more a higher trade line than a personal. So like personal trade lines, you can get a $5,000 card. If your business credit is proper, you can get a $50,000 card, a $25,000 card. So that's why you want to build both. And can you imagine if you had on your personal side a $10,000 card, a $5,000 card, and then on the business side they said here's a $25,000 and here's a $50,000. Potentially you can now access, using a credit card that is, access over $70,000. All right? You can get lines of credit as well. So you're going to open yourself up to all these options that if you just work on one or the other, you're not going to be able to take your full implementation into everything. And you can't take advantage because, like I said, we know the economy is going to go down. This big bubble that they're blowing up by adding money supply, sooner or later, they're not going to be able to print enough money to keep things afloat. And it's not sooner or later. It's going to happen within the next year to year and a half, if not sooner. So the sooner you get on this program, the better. So stay tuned for the next video, because I'm actually going to show you from scratch. What I'm going to go to is get an LLC from Florida, and I'm actually going to do these things, and I'll make videos going through the journey of what we're signing up for. And so therefore you can see how it actually works. So you're not afraid, you're not scared, and then you can always go back to the video and reference it. And I'm probably going to do that at the end in the next week or so. So stay tuned for that, and you can always check out the playlist for the previous business credits. But I pretty much went over what I always talk about here, except now I've added the NAV, the strategic solutions. I gave you the list of the NetNext. I gave you this list here of the high-risk industries where the underwriters for business funding ultimately a year from now, year and a half from now, 2 years from now, when you're trying to go out there and get $100,000, dollars, they're going to say, I'm sorry, you're in the jewelry store business, or you're in the loan business, or you're in the car business. Nah, we can't help you. So that's it for this video, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I've been having long videos and I've been trying to cut them down, but in order to get out this information, they last a little while. So thank you again for watching. Thank you for listening. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And you know it's hard out here. It's only going to get harder. But if you know that it's only going to cost you $100, $150, $300, $400, and you can start a LLC or a corporation in many states for $150 or less, that's what the first move you should do. An EIN is free. A Dun and Bradstreet number is free. A checking account, you will need, I don't know, $25, $100 to deposit into there. But there's one little thing that I always say. When you create an LLC, these articles of incorporation, you want to manually, most states have it where it's automatically made for you. But you don't want to do that. You want to send one in. You want to update it because you want to put in there that you do have some shares and you do own 100% of the shares, or you better own 55% or more, however you want to do it. But you want to make those shares of value. You want to have 3 million, 5 million shares at 10 cents a piece, and your company's worth $500,000 or $50,000, but you want it to be up there, right? So from that point on, you have an equity stake in the company, and now you can pay yourself dividends, which has a lower tax rate than actually even if you cut yourself a W-2 or a 1099. So you can do anything you want when you have your own business. That's why it's scary, because once minorities in America and around, well, in America, because we got our LLCs. If you live outside of the U.S., you don't usually have a social security number. But anyhow, there's a way. I'll get into that in another video. If you live outside of the country and you're watching this video and you say, hey, I want to get an LLC in the United States, there is a way. All right? There's forms. But that's the thing. The more you know, the more you learn, the more knowledge you seek, you find out. It starts getting scary when you're playing just like the Millionaires Club, the Billionaire Boys Club. When you're opening up corporations and claiming you have stock, which is what they do, and then you tell somebody, if you want to invest in my company, I'll sell you my shares at $5 a piece. And you say, yeah, I'll give you 100,000 shares. That's $500,000. You follow what I'm saying? Or I'll give you 1,000 shares. That's $5,000 at $5 each. Whatever you want to name it, you can sell it at that price. Known as a round of funding. Simple. It's not that hard, ladies and gentlemen. It's just they make it seem like it's all big to do, because usually they have these big corporations, these announcements. They have press agents, press secretaries. They have people out here running around acting like they're doing something that's tremendous, when in fact you can do it too, sitting at your home, sitting in front of your computer, and now you can go ahead. So with that said, keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.